This is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite and Charles Collingwood in New York, Marvin Kalb in Washington, George Sievertson in Saigon, Larry Pomeroy in Bethlehem, Jed Duval in Colorado Springs, and David Cohane in Edgartown.
Good evening. Our Moscow correspondent, William Cole, quotes informed Soviet sources tonight as saying that North Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh is dead. It should be emphasized that this is not official. The latest word from Hanoi is that the 79-year-old communist leader still is alive, but that his condition is grave and deteriorating. The unconfirmed Moscow report said that he died early today, Vietnam time. In recent months, Ho made public appearances only on rare occasions. In May, just after celebrating his 79th birthday, he showed up at a children's festival in Hanoi. And once again, he demonstrated the strength of his popular image as a father figure among the North Vietnamese. A few weeks later, Ho appeared at a Hanoi ceremony with Premier Pham Van Dong, Defense Minister Giap, and other top leaders to hail the establishment of a so-called provisional revolutionary government by the Viet Cong in South Vietnam. As for Ho, his history of poor health, connected with a heart condition, stretched over a period of several years. And there were reports that it finally reached the critical stage in late July. And then last night came the official word of his illness. And as in every other communist country, such communiques usually are not issued unless there is little chance that the leader will survive. The big question now is what impact Ho's departure will have on Hanoi's strategy in the war and at the peace talks. Washington has been busy assessing the situation, and we have a report from CBS News diplomatic correspondent Marvin Kalb.
After a series of hurry-up meetings starting last night, the administration has concluded that Ho's death will not significantly change Hanoi's policy on the war, neither at the negotiating table in Paris nor on the battlefield in South Vietnam. But fearful of what they take to be the one chance in 100 they could be wrong, officials are now trying to compose a new diplomatic approach for peace in Vietnam, to be presented in Paris as soon after Ho's death as respectability allows. No details are yet available, but it's known that some State Department officials will now press for significant and dramatic U.S. troop withdrawals, enough to meet Hanoi's hint last night that such withdrawals could break the negotiating deadlock in Paris. These officials realize that the Pentagon, Saigon, and U.S. Ambassador Ellsworth Bunker are reluctant to go too far too fast, but many of them feel that Ho's death could represent an historic moment that must be tested. Marvin Kalb, CBS News, Washington.
Charles Collingwood, our chief foreign correspondent and a specialist on Vietnamese affairs, will have some comments on the Hanoi developments later in this broadcast.